Alright, so today we'll be going through setting up a remote node at the customer's premises. Basic tools we'll need will be a drill, preferably a hammer drill in case we have to go through concrete, go through the wall. We'll also need a 3/8 inch masonry bit, maybe a 3/8 inch spade wood bit. We'd also need 8 millimeter, 10 millimeter, and 12 millimeter either sockets and ratchets set with a ratchet set or wrenches to use for mounting the hardware to the RN, to mount the J-mount to the customer's house as well, customer's building as well. So we have our J-mount here. This is what the basic J-mount looks like. We'll need the 10 millimeter to loosen these nuts here to make any adjustments to the J-mount that we need. We also gonna need this all comes as a part of the kit. This is the PoE adapter, the power cord. That's the RN. Now, as we unbox the RN, please note this cable seal here. It actually comes in the cork there, so do not dispose of it because it screws into the RN. It screws into the RN. We'll need it to seal the cable. We also gonna need the shielded outdoor Cat 6 cable. Shielded connectors are gonna be on the end of the cable. So one end of the cable attaches to the RN once it's mounted. Once it's mounted, one end attaches to the RN. The other end of the cable will attach to the outside of the PoE adapter. Also a part of the kit is the RN mount. It comes with everything that's needed to mount the RN to the J-mount. So that is where we're gonna need our 8 millimeter. So we can mount the RN mount to the RN. And as you can see, there's a tilt feature as well. Normally we don't really need the tilt feature. It's just sometimes you may need to tilt the RN up depending on the angle of the building from the tower. We also have our mounting clamps. This is also 8 millimeter. And these allow us to attach the RN to the J-mount. So once we've mounted our J-mounts to the building, the RN is gonna attach to the J-mount in that manner, and we're gonna aim this RN at the tower to pick up the BN. So it's important to know which direction the tower is in. It's important to know which direction the BN is pointing, because we want the best possible signal. Now, today's installation is actually at one of our exchanges. As you can see, the tower is straight ahead of us. In the distance, way up there, is the base node. We've already mounted the RN that we just assembled. We've mounted it to the building. And all we have to do now is position it, adjust it, align it, basically, for the best possible signal. We've already ran the cable onto the inside. As you can see, that is the mounted RN. The good thing about the J-mount is you can position it at many different angles to obtain whatever position you really need for optimal alignment with the BN. So that is our mounted RN on the J-mount. We have the shielded Cat5 cable running from the RN attached and running on the inside of the exchange. I'll try to get a good shot. There we have it. So that is the RN, and we have a course alignment with the BN at the moment. We will fine tune if needed once we get on the inside. The more you work with these, you will find that you can basically align the RN, tighten it down one shot without having to be back and forth. That's once you know where the BN is, once you know where the tower is located. In some instances, you will have to come out and make fine adjustments to fine-tune the metric. So I mentioned earlier that we can run the shielded Cat6, or it can be shielded Cat5 that we can run from the RN on the inside to the PoE. Now this is the RJ45 crimper. So when we're making up the cable, you'll need to have basic knowledge of making up an Ethernet cable, basic knowledge of crimping using a crimping tool. I should also mention here that it is important to test the cable. So once you made up the cable, you can use a tester like this to test your cable to make sure it's crimped properly, make sure it's properly aligned. It's important to test because there are times that you can miss a pair, or you can actually snip a pair. There are many different reasons why you can have a bad crimp or a bad cable. So testing is suggested, it's recommended, it's important. I've had issues where I've had a bad crimp and I wasn't getting any connection to the RN, or I would get a connection to the RN, but then there was no Ethernet connection between the PoE and computer. And after testing the cable, I'd realized that it was a bad crimp. So it's always important before before making the connection of the cable to always test your cable that you've made up. On the PoE, you'll have two Ethernet ports that are labeled out and in. The out port on the PoE is exactly for that. It goes out, so it goes outside to the RN. The in port is for inside, so the in port goes in and connects to the ATRAN. That's for inside.